Good morning, I'm Nivareti Manu, and this is your morning news fix for Tuesday, 24th of October. In this update, 4 years on from the March 15 Christchurch terror attacks, the coronial inquest begins today. Coroner Bridget Windley will hear up to 8 weeks of evidence. She will determine the cause and circumstances of the 51 deaths and make recommendations to prevent future similar tragedies. Herald reporter Annalise told Kate Hawkesby the coroner will look at whether people could have lived if emergency services or hospital staff had done things differently.
A few other questions that the families don't feel have been answered. Whether the gunman had help is one thing that the coroner will be looking into.
The outgoing and incoming governments are blaming the caretaker convention for keeping tight-lipped about the situation in the Middle East. The convention applies when an outgoing administration is preparing to make way for an incoming one. International geopolitical analyst Geoffrey Miller told Kate Hawkesby New Zealand's done the minimum, condemning the Hamas attack, calling for restraint from Israel's response and funding humanitarian aid.
Beyond that, though, our ministers have been reticent, and that is by design because of the caretaker convention. And we're waiting very much for the formation of a new government to make a fuller response.
The Central South Island had a late-night shake-up with a 5.2 magnitude earthquake striking 25 kilometres northeast of Arthur's Pass just after 10 o'clock. GeoNet reports the quake struck at a depth of 5 kilometres and describes the shaking as moderate, with more than 2,000 people saying they felt it. And researchers are getting a better understanding of the damage earthquakes could cause to the lower North Island. GNS scientists have analysed the Tokumaru and Northern Ohio faults that run between Levin and Palmerston North. They've found the fault lines are more active and trigger quakes more often than previously thought. The study's lead author, Dr. Genevieve Coffey, explains what magnitude tremor they believe they're capable of generating.
We expect the magnitude of earthquakes on the Northern Ohio and Tokumaru faults to be kind of in the mid-sevens.
3 people have died on our roads over Labour weekend. The toll began at 4 p.m. Friday and ended at 6 this morning. Police have discovered weapons and ammunition in a Canterbury University student's hostel room. Pia Nixon has more.
Police were called to the Tupua Nuku Hall of Residence in Ilam just after 2 a.m. on Thursday. A 20-year-old man was taken into custody and transported to hospital for treatment. He's charged with possession of an offensive weapon and unlawful possession of firearms and will appear in the Christchurch District Court tomorrow.
A university spokesperson says there's a wellbeing hub on campus and the health centre provides free counselling services to students. In sport, World Rugby has launched a formal review into allegations made by England's Tom Curry over a racial slur by South African hooker Bongi Mbonambi in their World Cup semi-final. Meanwhile, Wayne Barnes has been confirmed as referee for the All Blacks Springboks final on Sunday morning. Afghanistan have beaten Pakistan by 8 wickets, chasing 283 with an over to spare at cricket's World Cup. Elsewhere, former Indian captain and spin bowling great Bishin Bedi has died aged 77. I'm Nivareti Manu. That's your latest news fix. We'll be back with the next update at midday from the Newstalk ZB newsroom.